The new year has begun, but still some of the fears, some of the anxieties, some of the challenges of previous years are still lingering on in our lives. And so in a way, calendars have turned, dates have changed. But the question that was lingering in my heart and mind was, have we still moved? Have we really moved from 2020, from COVID, from the fear of that, from the lockdown, from masks, from sanitizers, and not shaking hands, no? And all that, which was a package of 2020. So I thought this morning we will meditate on the Word of God on the theme, New Year, a call to move with God. A call to move with God. Abraham was living in Ur, a town in Middle Bronze Age, very prosperous, very peaceful, and a luxurious life, settled life. And Abraham was called at that moment to move on. And Abraham was given this promise, you move on and I will bless you. And through you, I will bless many people. So, Abraham was asked to move geographically from Ur to Haran, Haran to Canaan. When I was reading this passage, I heard God is calling us to move not only geographically, but temporally, in a chronological way. Move on from 2020. Move on from the fear and anxieties and troubles of 2020. Move on with God in this new year, in this new time. A temporal movement, moving from old time to a new time. God is also asking us to move on not only geographically. Several of you have come from different places back to Jabalpur to study, continue your study. Some of you, God is asking us to move on time-wise, temporally, from 2020 to 21. God is also asking us to move on in our maturity, in our discipleship. So we need to assess where I was with God in 2020 in my life. And God is asking us, inviting us to move on in our life, move on in our discipleship, move on in our maturity level. How I was with God. Now it's time to take stock of that. And it is like a cycle. If it doesn't move, it cannot stand still, it will fall, it will tumble. So God is asking us, inviting us to move on geographically, move on temporally, chronologically, and move on in our maturity. So move on both y-axis and x-axis. Move on in both ways. Move on in our relationships. We may be having some issues in our relationships in 2020 with somebody, sometime, with our relatives, with our siblings, with our brother, sister, neighbors, with our church people, with our colleagues, seniors, juniors. I can't stand. I can't look at that person. Perhaps God is asking us to move on in our relationship. Move on in our thoughts that we had at that time when we had some difference of opinions or difference of issues. Now the time is to get on with that. Move on in this new year. And so this new year is a great opportunity for us to move on. John Wesley, the founder of Methodist Church, was very much aware of this aspect of moving on. So he had a questionnaire for him, 10 questions, which he used to ask himself and give himself grades on that. And those questions were very strange. If some of the questions I can read before you. Because he was always wary that I should not get stuck to the old personality, my old nature, my old time, my old behavior. I must move on in life with God. So the questions were something like, did I get angry with anyone in my heart today? Did I become selfish in doing certain things? Even becoming more personal was that, did I sleep more than it was necessary for me to sleep? Even getting more close to that is, did I eat more than it was necessary for me to eat? Sometimes what happens, stomach is full, but the eyes are not full, no? Because the food is so nice, so tempting, no? It's looking so good. So stomach is saying, enough, abhi bas karo. But eyes are saying, nahi yaar, chalo, kuch aur bhi hai, yeah? Let me try. And John Wesley used to give himself grade out of 10. And then say sorry for those things and pray to God, God gives me strength to change my behavior, change my maturity level, change my discipleship, and move on in life. But dear friends, this call to move on in this new year with God is not easy, because it is asking us to disturb our life. We have a tendency to settle down. Wherever we go to a new place, now for the last 1 or 2 days, 3 days, I see several students are coming back, married students, single ones. They are trying to settle down. Settle down with a cot which is good for me, a table, a chair, my married quarter. If we are living at one place for many years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, we try to settle down. In a way, we dig a well to get the water. We make some things to have security around us. We plant some seeds, we plant some plants. We arrange for our relationship, we settle down. Even in a small time, like if you are going in a train from here to Bangalore or here to Ahmedabad, here to Gujarat, to Chennai, moment we sit down, we like to settle down. We like to put our water bottle here. We like to put our charger into this. If somebody else has put charger, arey bhai hatao, mera charger. My water bottle in my stand, my bag here, my this thing here. Tum upar jao, tum idhar aao, tum idhar jao, tum udhar jao. Settle down. This is a human tendency. We want to settle down. We want to be comfortable. We want to have a zone which is good for us. Anything disturbing is not acceptable. So this call of God to move on is a call of disturbance. It is a call which is challenging our comfort zone. It is a call which is asking us to move on. We settle down with our achievements. I've been working in some factory, working in a school. Now I'm senior. I don't want to move on because I have achieved it. I have achieved my status. I have achieved my place. I don't want to move on. I mean, talking of moving on, I came to Leonard to start teaching in 1995. This is 26th year of my teaching in Leonard. So this message is more for me also. And you will not believe that there are 8 or 10 students whom I am teaching, whose fathers also I taught. Can you believe I have a feeling of grandfatherliness, very much in the same class. I have taught them Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalit to their fathers, and now I'm teaching to their children also Hebrew. And it's a strange feeling. So sometimes we ask in the family, "Arey, what is this, man? 26 years in one place, perhaps time to move on. God is, and when that will come, we don't know. But if it comes, we must be ready for that." So this requires a disturbance. This requires a risk of leaving the settled life, risk of moving on from that which gives us comfort and peace. This is my parking place. This is my school, children's school. This is where I get my vegetable. This is where I buy my fish. This is where I buy my meat. All settle down. God is asking us to move. This call came to Abraham at the age when he was 75. Sometimes we think we are too old to move. Now we cannot move in our relationship. Abhi jo ho gaya, wo ho gaya. But Abraham is willing to move. Abraham is willing to move at the age of 75. Not alone, but his wife, his Lot, his nephew, and all of them. So this call of God to move on is a call that comes to us in this new year, to move on. Sometimes this call comes to us to move on as an interference in our settled life. So there is an uncertainty, there is a reluctancy in that. And especially disturbance. How do we look at disturbance in our lives? I have a plan for the day, I am going there, but suddenly something comes out of the way and says, we need this, can you talk to us, give us some minute, give us some time, we need to address that. When I sit in my office, I'm constantly aware that door is open. I believe in open door policy. Anytime anybody can walk in and share what they have in their hearts, good things or something which is troubling them. So that door is a symbol of disturbance also. You are set up, you are doing registration, you are doing something focused here, but suddenly anybody can come in and say, this is my issue. It could be variety of reasons, 1,000 reasons. Philip, that's why the text in Acts of the Apostles, chapter 8, 25 verses that. Philip was doing a very successful ministry, preaching in Samaria. And Spirit of the Lord, angel of the Lord, took Philip from there and asked him, go to Gaza on a highway where a eunuch is going. You go and meet him. You go and talk to him. He is reading something which he cannot understand. So in a way it came as a disturbance to him. But he had no choice. He agreed. He accepted that and accepted that disturbance that led to blessing to somebody. Doing a successful thing at one place and then moving on. In the Gospel of Mark, there is a wonderful story. Jesus was there. He went across the Jordan to Decapolis, and Jairus, a captain of the army, came and said, my daughter is sick, almost going to die. Would you please come and pray for my daughter and heal her? And Jesus said yes. So as a plan, they were going there. In between, a woman came who was having a loss of blood for the last 12 years. In the middle, she came and touched Jesus, and Jesus stopped. A disturbance came. But Jesus took that disturbance to turn around and say, who touched me? And in that conversation, one healing and blessing came to a woman. So that disturbance was, in a way, a blessing. Sometimes that disturbance is God's way of in our routine, in our daily routine, that in between what comes, which is not planned, which is not, we have no engagement, we have no appointment, but something that comes in between also is a blessing. E. Stanley Jones, writing a meditation on disturbance in life, he writes an incident. He was in Satal Ashram, and somehow when he was going and for morning walk, his reading glasses fell off somewhere. And it is big 400-acre campus. And he was not able to find out. And without glasses, he was practically blind. And he was searching, and at that time, 1930, losing our glasses and getting it made again required a lot of time and money and all that. And during that time, 10 days or 15 days, his work was going to be affected. So he was very troubled, and he was in a hurry to cover up all the place and where to go. When he was running and going here and there, his shoelaces opened up. And that was also annoying. What is this? I am running and I want to go fast, and what is this shoelace? So open shoelace also he began to walk. But after some time he got stuck with that, because if the laces are open, it can get stuck somewhere. So he thought, let me attend to this disturbance. So he stopped at one place, put his leg on a boulder, and began to tie his lace. And there his specs were there. So sometimes these disturbances are good to attend, because they bring blessing. They bring something new which we have not planned. How God is going to bless us, we do not know. And sometimes these disturbances, these unplanned calls, these uninvited guests, these unplanned visits, these some phone calls. In the night, 10:30, call coming, and I'm saying, oh no, I'm tired, and this is not a time to call me and tell me your travel plans. Because this is the time students are calling and telling, I'm arriving by this train, 4:30 in the morning, that. And I have to channelize to people who are responsible for arrangement. And I was thinking in my heart, oh no, this 10:30 call I will not take. But I took that call, and that was a call from a very good friend of mine, Bishop Sudarshan Devadhar, Bishop in the New England Conference of UMC. Very old friend, and it was a blessing to talk to him. So sometimes these disturbances are blessing. Sometimes these going off is a blessing for us. And so Abraham took that call. Philip took that call. Jesus took that call of moving on. In desert, as long as things are moving, vultures stay away. And if something stops, is not moving, that is a sign of death. That is a sign when vultures want to come down and pounce on that and eat it. So dear friends, this imagery I want to bring for you and for me, that are we moving in our lives? Are we moving, if not geographically, at least in our maturity with God? Are we moving in our relationships? Are we moving in our emotional life? Are we moving in our discipleship life? If we do not move, we are as good as a dead person, as a dead object. And therefore, this movement is so important for us in this new year. Let us move away from this corona and lockdown and all that, and move into holding the hand of God into this new year with joy and with courage. It is a demand for obedience. God is asking us, calling us to move, and it is our response whether we want to move or not. If we move, then we obey, we show our obedience to God, even if it is blind, even if it is uncertain, we do not know what is there in the future. But it depends on our obedience to God's call for this. And when Abraham did it, he became a blessing for many, many people. When Philip did it, he became a blessing for many people. Therefore, dear friends, perhaps the call could be disturbing. Call to move on could be challenging. Call to move on in our relationship could be troublesome. How can I do it? It will require me to suppress my ego, suppress my anger, suppress my revenge. But this is a call to obedience in the new year. To venture out, to dare out with new hope, even willing to take some trouble, even willing to take that disturbance, but accepting the call of God, to accept God's blessings in our lives, and also to be a channel of God's blessings for others. Therefore, today God is calling us, in Hebrew it is Lech Lecha. Go, arise and go, Abraham, to a new time, to a new moment, to a new zone, to a new relationship. Obey this, and you will be blessed beyond your plans. And you will be blessing for many other people. May God bless us all, and may God make this new year a time of movement in our lives. Amen.